Yes. Um, Thank you very much, my fellow viewers. My names are Sensei Peter Ching from the Karate School of JSKA, that is Japan Shotokan Karate Association, currently Technical Director of JSKA Kenya. Today is another good day that I want us to talk about something very simple that I realize there's a lot of problems to karatekas and all the entire humanity at all. This is called uh, procrastination. So our main thing today is please stop procrastinating. Stop living in the process of procrastination. And the presenter is Xian Peter Ching. I'm the technical director, JSKA Kenya, as usual. And again, my main topic today is I want us to understand the procrastination and the strategies with which we can use to solve it. Procrastination. In this video, I'm going to divide it. These are the contents of what we're going to study today, or not today, but in the whole of this process of procrastination, understanding procrastination and the strategies on how we can deal with it. My table of contents are procrastination test, procrastination, what is procrastination, the effects of procrastination, the causes of procrastination, the procrastination circles, types of procrastinators, types of procrastination, and overcoming the procrastination activity, and then the takeaway of the session, if you're going to finish it, and then the discussion from the session. And because of time, I'm going to divide it into sessions, and we're going to go part 1 and part 2. Part 1, we're going to go procrastination definition. We're going to go through the effects of procrastination and probably the causes of procrastination. Then the rest, we're going to go the next session due to time. Now, when I talk of procrastination tests, these are just what we go through to make us know the degree at which we procrastinate, the level at which we procrastinate. And before I go to the definition of procrastination, these are some of the tests that questions you used to ask yourself and find out if you do them or not. Now, we have the procrastination test. We have the particulars, which are the questions that we're going to ask ourselves. We have the answer will be not me, you can tick, or somewhat like me, or like me. The way you're going to answer these questions are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The way you're going to answer them is the way you're going to find out the degree at which you procrastinate in your life. Question number 1. I convince myself that later is the time to begin any task. I say whenever I think of doing a task, I convince myself that I can do it later. I can begin it later. Now, the answer is not me, somewhat like me, or like me. The answer is for your own self. I'm not going to help you answer. Number 2, I have developed a habit of showing up late. Everything I try to do, I show up late. Not me, somewhat like me, or like me. Again, you have your own answer. Question number 3, I put off hard decisions. When something is too hard for me, I put off that decision. Is it me? Is it not me? Or someone like me? Next question is, my emotions highly affect what I do. Does your emotions affect what you do? Is it you? Is it someone somehow like you? Or is it not you? The next question is, I always have excuses to explain the delays. Whenever you try to do something, I delay, but I have a very good explanation as to why I did not do it in time. Is it like me, somewhat like me, or not me? Next is, I start things and don't finish them. Is it you, not you, or is it like you? The next one is, I always delay in meeting deadlines. Whenever you have a task to do, you don't meet the deadline, you delay. Okay? So, is it you, someone like you, or not you? The last question is, I put aside uncomfortable priorities. Not me, somewhat like me, or like me. Okay? So that all those questions, the way you answer them will now determine who you are and the degree at which you procrastinate. Okay? Now there, I will answer now to go to introduction. Let's now introduce to what we want to discuss. I have this to ask you. Do you ever sit with yourself and think, I have to do something, but I will get it later, or I can always do it tomorrow? Are you such a person? I don't know whether your answer is yes or no. Okay. And another question is, do you ever find yourself completing trivial activities rather than major tasks that deserves the top spot of your priorities? Do you ever start a task, then somehow on the way you get the trivial activities that you need to do that substitutes what you had in plan? Okay, these kind of questions, the way you answer them, these are the thoughts of the actions of procrastinators. If you said yes, that you sit with yourself, that you want to do something that you say do it tomorrow, if you always find yourself completing the trivial activities rather than the major tasks that you're supposed to do, then you are a procrastinator. Procrastinator is the person who practices procrastination. So these are the thoughts and actions of procrastination. Okay? Now, let's go ahead to our table of content. And now we've done the test. And then let's go to definition. What is procrastination? Without wasting time, to me, I say procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing things. You plan something to do, but you delay it. You say, I still have a lot of time. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it the next time. That is what is procrastination. The action of delaying what you are supposed to do or postponing it to do it the other time. Where does this word procrastination come from? It comes from a Latin nation, and it says pro, which means forward, and crastinators, that means uh, till the next day. Okay, so we continue again. Now, let's start off. Procrastination is a great killer of success in life. Procrastination, the process of delaying something that I want to do, say I'll do it tomorrow, do it next time, it's a big killer of our success. It makes you feel like you have a lot of time, even if you don't act today. You think there's always a lot of time, even if you do it today, you're gonna do it next time. And again now, you can do it tomorrow, but remember in martial arts, We are always taught that we do not have tomorrow. Tomorrow is always from the Creator. We only have today, this time, the mindfulness meditation. It tells us that we need to live today, bring our awareness into today, this particular, the current time. Yes, I know yesterday, I know what happened yesterday. The problem I have with yesterday is that it will never come back again. I know right now because I am seeing what is happening. I don't know tomorrow because tomorrow has never reached. But procrastination will convince you that you can do something the next time there is tomorrow, which is not there in to us as martial artists. Okay, now let's now try to go to the effects of procrastination. We've known what is procrastination. We've known how it can be a killer. We've defined it. What are its effects in our life? Okay, effect number one. There are so many effects, but I have aligned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because there are a lot of them in many other classes. You can see a lot of effects of procrastinations, but me, I try to combine them together so that I reduce the number to make the ones that repeat themselves, I put them into one point. So the first effect, number one, is procrastination will make you miss wonderful opportunities. I want us to align them together, and then we're gonna see how each and everyone affect us. So effect number one is procrastination will make you miss wonderful opportunities. Next, it will make you not to meet your goals. Number three, procrastination will ruin your career. Number four, fourth effect, losing precious time. Procrastination makes us lose precious time. We all know very well that time is precious, not set by us, set by our Creator. Only thing we can do is to manage the already available time for us. Okay, effect number five is low self-esteem. Let's go to number six, is making poor decisions. Procrastination leads us to making poor decisions. Let's see, number seven is it damages our reputation. Procrastination damages our our reputation. Now let's try to go through one by one very fastly. Let's go to missing opportunities. How does procrastination make us to miss opportunities? My explanation is often individuals do not realize that the opportunities, always the individuals do not realize that the opportunities they are getting can be life-changing, and they unintentionally miss it out. We may think that opportunities are there today and tomorrow another day. No, the opportunity that you get as an individual, I want you to learn today that it may be life-changing, but it may not be having another chance for you to get it. So most opportunities can come only once, and the chances that you may not get a second shot at it. That is true. Okay? But procrastination may make us to lose this. Are we together? Now let's go to how can procrastination make us not to meet our goals? Listen now. Goals are generally set with a supportive motive, yet cannot be achieved because of procrastination. You set a goal with a supportive motive, yet you may not achieve it because of procrastination. And now, this can cause one frustration. Not meeting goal can cause you to be frustrated, disappointment, and can also lead you to decreased motivation levels. So, not meeting your goal can cause frustration, it can cause disappointment to you, and also can decrease your motivation levels. I'm going to talk about motivation later on. Let's go to ruining career. How can procrastination affect my career? Laziness. So it's always normal, and we know that hard work impacts directly the work life and productivity of a person. That's the point. It's known to all of us. But this is the same with procrastination. Okay? Hard work impacts directly the work life of productivity of you as a person. Now, the procrastination can prevent you from meeting your deadlines and fulfilling the potentials. That is true. Because you are supposed to do a task today, level 1, level 2, level 3. But before you do level 1, you can't go to level 2. But now today you've said you don't feel like, you're not motivated, you're going to do it the next time. That time is past. What you're supposed to do number level 2 tomorrow, it means that next time you're going to do level 1. Okay? So that is about procrastination ruining our career. Let's see, how does procrastination lead us to lose our precious time. Okay? Now, the worst part of procrastination is realizing that you cannot turn back the time that has been wasted on unnecessary things. Okay? It is very bad. It is harming to know that you cannot be able to turn up or to recover the time that you've wasted when procrastinating. And this only makes you frustrated knowing that you could have been in a better situation or position if you had taken the first step in managing your time with a proactive attitude. Okay? Let's go very fast now. Let's try to look at how does it lower our self-esteem. Procrastination can lower our esteem. How can it happen? Procrastination can lead us to low self-esteem. And how does it continue? It makes you feel that you are not capable of performing a task, okay? Or you cannot perform it in a proper way. It makes you feel like you are not in a capability of performing a task, or you cannot perform it in a proper way. It means you are like useless. Okay? But when you develop low self-esteem, you feel unworthy of a success. This may lead you to a mindset of nihilistic kind of worldview thought. Okay? And before we go, what is the nihilistic worldview? In another presentation which I had done earlier, we found out that nihilistic is a kind of mindset or belief that life or any existence is meaningless. So when you feel low in esteem, it means procrastination makes you feel that like you cannot do a task. You're not in a position to do a task, or you cannot do it in a perfect way, and therefore you are useless. And therefore you feel like your existence is useless. Okay? So that's what we call nihilistic kind of thought or mindset. Let's go ahead now. Now, what will this kind of mindset or thought bring to you? This will also gradually eat away your confidence. When you think you're useless, you're nihilist, you think that if you have nihilistic kind of thought, it means you may also gradually think that you're not worthy. So your confidence will fade away. You know what happens when your confidence fades away. So how can it lead you to make poor decision? Making wrong decision is Making one decision, wrong decision, is one of the worst effects of procrastination. And how does this take place? I think you need to know that your emotions heavily impact the decision-making powers in you as a person. Your emotions heavily impacts your decision-making powers. Okay? So, but now from my experience of training and teaching martial arts, that's karate, I can heavily advise you not to avoid making a decision at such a moment when you feel your your esteem is low, because and maybe wait for right time to analyze your decision from all perspectives. But by the time you're waiting for this, there's a very big effect that's coming to you. So my point is, procrastination can lead you to making poor decision. Remember, any decision you make, and decision you make as a person, has impact in you, irrespective of how you're feeling at that particular time. The impact, the result that the decision making will bring, the decision you made, will cause the impact later on, which will be responsible, either negatively or positively. Now, let's continue. So when you regularly delay task, now, number 7 is damaging your reputation. When you regularly delay task, your reputation gets damaged. As nobody likes empty promises. You say, I'll do this, you don't do. I'll give this, you don't give. People will make their confidence fade away from you. Now listen. It doesn't only destroy your reputation, but also lowers your self-esteem and confidence. Now, people stop trusting you and offering you opportunities. Why? Because they will be worried about the task not being completed in time. If they trust you with a task, if it is business or whatever, they think it is good, I'm giving this task, but it's not going to be done in time. So that means you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose a lot. Sorry. Now, I want us to go back to our content, to our content table of content, and now see causes of procrastination. And that's where we're going to end today, so that the next part 2, we're going to cover from there. Now, causes of procrastination. Now, listen. There are 2 sides at which we can describe procrastination. There is biological perspective, and there is psychological perspective. Biological perspective, there are 2 ways. It is divided into the way the brain works. And there are 2 parts of the brain two systems of brain that we discuss and talk about here. The limbic system and the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. This was found out by Dr. Timothy Pitchell, who is a professor of psychology. We're going to see how Dr. Timothy, or Professor Timothy, Dr. Timothy, describes the biological perspective of causes of procrastination. The other part, we have the psychological perspective, where also we see there is things like fear of failure, perfectionism, low self-esteem, anxiety, lack of motivation, impulsivity, time management difficulties, and short-term. Now, without wasting time, let's see what it talks about, the explanation about biological. So the biological perspective is procrastination has a biological roots, including a potential genetic link to impulsivity and traits like self-control, and as well as the interplay between 1, the limbic system of our brain, and the prefrontal cortex, part of our brain. Okay? The procrastination has a biological roots, and this includes the interplay between the limbic system of the brain and the prefrontal cortex, part of our brain, in the brain. Okay? This is where the limbic system's focus on immediate gratification can override the prefrontal cortex planning and decision-making abilities. Okay? And so the procrastination, according to biological perspective kind of explanation, and this according to Dr. Timothy Peschel, is the result of a constant battle in our brain between, as I said before, between the limbic system of the brain and the prefrontal cortex. And the limbic system, also called the mammalian brain, is oldest and the most dominant portion of our brain. Okay? And it is always known, for those who've gone through this kind of training, that the limbic system of the brain processes are mostly automatic, and the prefrontal is not automatic, it's just manual way. It goes one by one. There are two things. Limbic system or system of the brain is always automatic, and it is also more older in existence than prefrontal. So now, when you feel like your whole body is telling you to flee from unpleasant situation, it is your limbic system that is talking to you. Okay? It's very, very funny to some of us. It's also tightly connected to prefrontal cortex. The limbic system of the brain is always tightly connected, interconnected to the prefrontal. That's why before we said that it is the procrastination biological explanation perspective part of it. It is always the interplay between the prefrontal cortex part of the brain and the limbic system of the brain. Let's talk of prefrontal. Let's just go down to the other part, which is prefrontal. We've talked about the limbic, which we find out that its work is automatic, and it's more of the motivation. Okay? Now let's see what prefrontal cortex is about and how do they outplay each other. Okay, the prefrontal cortex is newer. Okay, I told you that the limbic system is more older in human brain than the prefrontal cortex. Because why? Okay, I'll explain that in the next. And as a result, somewhat weaker portion of the brain. We said the limbic system is automatic and more dominant and more older, whereas the prefrontal cortex is newer and less developed. It's not automatic. So how do they play into this situation? Now, this is prefrontal cortex is part of the brain where, okay, planning complex behaviors, and the expressing your personality, making decision happen. It is in the prefrontal cortex part of our brain where we have the complex kind of behaviors, those behaviors you have, and our personality, and making decision happens. The planning happens. The decision making, the personality, the behavioral kind of acts, and the making decisions, and the personality and the planning happens in the cortex, prefrontal cortex part of the brain, where the motivational part of it happens in the limbic system. Listen now. Listen now. The prefrontal cortex is part of the brain that really separates human from animals. Why? Because we know that the animals are always controlled not by planning, but they are controlled by stimulus. That is as explained by Dr. Timothy Pitchell, a psychology professor. I don't know whether you maybe we can go and talk about a little bit shortly, just introduction of Dr. Timothy. So who is Dr. Timothy Pitchell? Dr. Timothy Pitchell is a professor of psychology at Carleton University in Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada. And what happened to him? So after suffering for so long a time from procrastination, he decided to conduct a search and on understanding procrastination and strategies to overcome it. And that's how he came to introduce to to manufacture the procrastination. Okay? Now let's continue now and see what happens. Now, listen now. Because the limbic system is much stronger, it very often wins the battle leading to procrastination. It wins the battle between itself. The limbic system wins the battle between itself and the prefrontal cortex. Okay? So this leads to procrastination. We give our brain what feels good now. So the the limbic system will give the motivation to give your body, your brain, what is good for it now. It fills your body, it fills your thoughts with a lot of dopamine. Yeah. You know, dopamine is a chemical or a hormone that makes you feel motivated to do something. Yeah. Okay. Now, in fact, procrastination can also be seen as a result of a battle between the present self and your future. I do it now? No, don't do it now. Do it the next time. So it is a battle between yourself, the present, and the future. Okay? Now, let's we talked about Dr. Timothy. Let's go back and yes, let's go back and then see the next, which is now, we've talked of prefrontal, we talk of limbic. So according to those two facts, I've explained about limbic system and I've explained prefrontal, and we see that biologically procrastination is caused by the battle between the limbic system of the brain and the prefrontal, where limbic system of the brain being dominant and automatic and heavier and older will always win the battle between it and the prefrontal cortex part of the brain that is for behavioral kind of actions and planning and decision making. Okay, then when the limbic system now brings a lot of motivation and produce a lot of dopamine to make you feel that the task you want to do is too big today and you can do it tomorrow, then the planning of the prefrontal cortex fails and you say, no problem, it's good for me to postpone now and do the next time. Now let's now go to psychological explanation about procrastination. Psychologically, how do we come up with this procrastination? So in this perspective, the procrastination is often driven by a complex interplay of psychological factors such as one, such as fear of failure and perfectionism and low esteem, and also last, lack of motivation. Okay, lack of motivation. Remember, in the biological part of it, the limbic gave a lot of motivation and overpowered the planning, the behavioral and personality of you, and then now prefrontal cortex was defeated, and then you decided, yes, I can do it next time. Let's go ahead and see. It can also be linked, the psychological part of the procrastination, in a psychological perspective, procrastination can be also be linked to difficulties with emotional regulation and impulse control. Okay, let's continue a little bit faster, sorry. Now let's go to fear of failure. Fear of failure. How does it cause procrastination? Understanding the psychology behind procrastination reveals its underlying factors, and fear of failure or success can drive procrastination, as individuals may fear not to meet expectation or feeling overwhelmed by the pressure of success. Okay, that is fear of failure. Let's see perfectionism. Okay, what about perfectionism? Perfectionism and high standards also contributes. Why? As setting excessively high expectation can be paralyzing. If I cannot make it perfect, I rather not do it. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna postpone it until I'll be able to do it perfectly. Perfectionism is another part. Let's go to low self-esteem. How does it? Biological. Sorry. Okay, lack of motivation. Let's go. Lack of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation can lead individual to avoid tasks that seem boring or uninteresting. But I think we asked when we were doing the test, we asked, am I kind of a person that always put aside hard decisions? I run away from hard decisions. It's a very big effect. Let's see impulsivity. How does it? So listen, a tendency to act on immediate impulses can make it difficult to prioritize long-term goals and delay gratification. Okay? I said I'm gonna say small explanation, not very big because I'm rushing. Okay? Now, time management difficulties. How does um, psychological perspective explanation of procrastination talked about in managing time becoming difficulty? Listen, poor time estimation or planning can lead to feeling overwhelmed and procrastinating. You have a big task, place small time or locate a small time for it, you can finish it, it becomes heavy on you. When it becomes heavy, you think, oh, I need to procrastinate. Short term thinking. Okay, focusing on immediate pleasures rather than long term consequences can contribute to delaying tasks. Okay, thank you. And then now, I said we're gonna go up to causes of procrastination. Allow me to stop there for now. The next session, which is the next time we meet again, I'm going to talk of procrastination part B, and that will be the procrastination circles. I'm going to talk about procrastination circles. In our table of contents, it's going to be number 5. So please, until the next video, which is going to be procrastination part 2, which is going to be number 5 in our table of contents, there's procrastinating circles. Allow me to stop there. Please um, um, try to chew on that we talked about procrastination, definition, effects, and the causes as you wait for the next. But please follow up with me so that at long last, in the next video, we see how what is procrastination circles, what is the types of procrastinators, what is types of procrastinations, and overcoming the procrastination, and again the activities that we're going to do to help us understand procrastination more and more. Until that, see you. I'm still your Sensei Peter Ochim. God bless you. Till next time.